Welcome to Toffee TV. Well, everyone by now knows the Super League is dead. It is gone. It is dead and buried, thankfully, after 48 hours of uncertainty, unrest, real upset as well, real upset for fans everywhere, real anger. It is done and dusted, and we're going to talk about what we think should happen now. But before we get into that, let's just listen to the lads from the Hold the L show on the Super 6 YouTube channel, their thoughts about the Super League.
Where's the morals anymore? Where's the competition? What's the point in playing in the Premier League if we're allowed to play in the Premier League? You know, what have you actually got to play for apart from a title? Because you don't need to play for Europe anymore. You can finish 15th in the league and you're guaranteed as one of the founder members to be playing in this Super League. You get given £350 odd million a year. How's that fair to all of the other 14 teams in the Premier League that you're going to have this massive, lump sum every season to just go out and buy and do whatever you want? The moral of all of this is just money. The rich get richer and the fans just get brushed aside like it's nothing. And I just don't know what the hell to think about any of it anymore. And, clubs are, removing themselves from European organisations, and we're not going to be in the Champions League and the Europa League anymore. And there's talk about how we won't even be allowed to compete in the Premier League. Like, that blows my mind.
So you can watch more of that video over on the Super 6 YouTube channel. Obviously with three fans from three clubs involved in what was the Super League. Make sure you go over, check it out, leave a comment. Make sure you tell them we sent you. We'll be in the comments as well.
Part of a wider discussion.
That's it, part of a wider discussion. Yeah, I mean, we had Paul Machin on from the Redmen TV this week. Paul obviously was really upset him, being, a Liverpool fan. And we'd sat ourselves and chatted about this, and it's funny, isn't it? Because yesterday we were coming up with scenarios of how we thought it was going to play out. I actually never thought it was going to play out like this. I just didn't think the people involved would fall on their swords so quickly because you would think they would know the anger that this was going to I thought to myself, these people know this is a terrible idea and they're not asked. They've been pre-warned. The Glazers have known for years. Kroenkai's not really liked. John Henry's slightly different because Liverpool, he's brought success to Liverpool. But and I just thought, these don't care. So for them to fold that quickly, it is quite interesting. Whether it was they were pushed because Chelsea and Man City went early because they were maybe never ever quite fully in or fully sure, and they felt like maybe they were going to be left behind if they didn't join it. I don't know, but it was remarkable, the scenes last night when they all just started falling one by one.
Yeah, it was weird. And obviously we were in here and you were showing videos of Petr Cech stood outside Stamford Bridge when Chelsea fans were there, and fair play to the Chelsea fans going and really making the feelings known. We'd seen Liverpool fans at Anfield taking flags down and putting other flags up. We'd seen Leeds fans at the Liverpool game on Monday letting their feelings know. We had Pep Guardiola talking about it, saying it's I don't like it and everything else. So the pressure was mounting. But I was like you in terms of there was Project Big Picture back in July, I think it was, when they dipped the toe in the water and everyone had a go, and there was Premier League clubs were fuming at the time, and then so they knew, I think they kind of knew that people weren't going to be happy. So the fact that they then came out with this and the logo and this is what's happening, they all released statements about them joining it. I thought, right, they know that. They know it's going to cause uproar, but they're ready. They're ready for it. They're just going to go, we're going to grin and bear it because we've made this decision. And obviously we have Florentino Perez the other night coming out with all of his outlandish statements and basically saying, we're the 12 most important clubs in football. We don't care about anyone else. Blah, de blah. So when they did start going and cracking. It was a bit of a surprise that they all came. But I mean, you know, a couple of our clubs hung on. Liverpool and Manchester United hung on as late as they could. With Arsenal before coming out of it, didn't he? But it is still... It's brilliant for fans. Listen, I think you said it on a different video. The power of the fan cannot be underestimated when everybody's following the same cause, and nobody wanted this. I heard Steve Parish say absolutely brilliantly, Crystal Palace's chief executive, it was a victory for the right to lose, because that's what it was. Pep Guardiola said it. If you can't lose, it's not competition. If you're, DT said it in that clip there, if you're going into something where it doesn't really matter whether you win or lose, what's the point? Arsenal fans will,
where's the jeopardy?
That's it, the jeopardy had gone. Say if this would have gone through, and the Premier League, who we know are weak, would have turned around and said, all right, you can stay and you can play in that. We said it yesterday, I think, or the day before on one of the videos we've done. Where's the motivation for any club of, if you can't win the league, what's the point of the rest of your fixtures? You're
existing, aren't you?
Because you're existing, because you know that. We don't have to qualify for anything, because I'm already in this thing that gives me 350 million quid every season. Do you know what I mean? It was just
I agree.
To me, it was a ridiculous idea.
I think what's quite interesting, we're going to touch on that a little bit more in a moment, but I think what's interesting is, just right now, as we record, you know, the English teams have left, Atletico Madrid have left, Inter Milan and AC Milan have left. Juventus and Barcelona and Real Madrid, they have not formally resigned, and I think that shows you. I think all these different clubs, and I think we did speak about this on another video, the different clubs are all coming in from a different angle. Even the English clubs, the Americans really wanted it. Man City and Chelsea, I do genuinely believe, we're thinking we can't be left behind, and Spurs just thought, Jesus Christ, I've just won the lottery. You know what I mean? They were like, this is amazing, we've won the lottery, we're going with this. Yeah. And I think it shows you the difference in where all the different people have come from. Perez basically admitted, Real Madrid are in a mess. Barcelona are in a mess. Juventus are in a mess. They're seeing how they do things being destroyed. You know, I thought it was really funny the other night that Juventus got beat by Udinese. Was it Atalanta? Sorry. And I thought that shows you what is happening in football. The power of the big clubs isn't always going to be there. You know, I'm going to say power. I mean the power to just
on the pitch.
Not only on the pitch, but when Real Madrid sold Ronaldo to Juventus were buying him because they thought he was going to power them either to the Champions League or into this new area of football where Real Madrid had been. And it didn't work on the pitch. So they suddenly thought, well, how are we going to do this? And you know, you're paying someone like Ronaldo ridiculous amounts of money, and he's not doing it on the pitch. So you've got to still keep coming up with that money. And it puts a burden on the club. And I think we got this from Perez. Perez wants to keep having wants Galacticos. I know they're not Galacticos at the moment, but he wants Galacticos. He invented Galacticos, basically. That's where it came from. In his first tenure at Real Madrid, he wants a Galacticos era, but he doesn't know how he's going to pay for it. So what he wanted was Galacticos on the pitch, merchandise off the pitch, and only one thing paying for it. And my simple solution to that is, stop paying footballers so much money. Stop paying agents so much money. Get a salary cap and get back in the real world. Because what you're all chasing isn't actually trophies. It's this, I don't know what, they're chasing this idea, and you've just got it right. They're chasing this idea of just money. It's just money. You bring money in, but what are you bringing money in? Would they say to buy players? Well, what are you buying players for if there's no jeopardy? And it's Real Madrid and Barcelona have already done this to themselves. This is what we were talking about in one of the other videos. They've caused this situation by having less competition in their league. Less people want to watch their league. Maybe they'll tune in for the Classico. I don't know. When was the last time you watched the Classico? No, now that it's not on Sky? You're not asked, are you? Don't go looking for it. When it used to be on Sky and it was peak, then maybe you would. But they've burned themselves out. They spent a load of money in 10 years, both of them. And now they've got nowhere to go. And that's what they wanted it for. And the simple fact is, stop chasing something that's unattainable. Stop thinking that you at this cabal of clubs is better than everybody else, and do what Germany does, where it looks at the whole thing and says we are stronger together. We can still have a big club like Bayern Munich. We can still have people like Dortmund trying to compete. But look at the teams who are competing in Bayern Leverkusen and Frankfurt and other
Gladbach.
Exactly. It's strong. It's a strong league, and Bayern Munich benefited from that but could still attract the best players. Changed the model and went looking for players younger. The problem is Real Madrid and Juventus and Bayern Munich, Barcelona, sorry, not Bayern, and are not prepared to change how they do things to fit in with everybody else. Yeah. So they want to, but it's not even everyone else. They want to run away and create this fantasy, and that's what has to be changed in this. That's what we have to learn from this.
No, I think for me, you're absolutely right. It's football. I don't know whether this will happen, but it should happen. Football has got to almost reset itself. These clubs are making huge amounts of money and are crying poverty. They're making huge amounts of money.
Yeah,
it's scandalous. When you look at the money that comes into a football club, a top football club like Real Madrid, it's absolutely criminal, the money that they're wasting. Premier League clubs, if the money Premier League clubs get in is a joke, really. No Premier League club should ever be in any kind of trouble. And they are, because they spend money on wages that is ridiculous. No one, our club turnover is like 85% of our turnovers on wages, which is horrific. Yeah. Liverpool got 300 odd million on a wage bill. But if everyone cut the wage bill down, and maybe give a bonus or whatever, you might be able to manage it better. If you're earning, say your club's bringing in 500 million a season, right, which is what Liverpool, Manchester United will be bringing in. 500 million. Just think about that for a minute. How much is coming in? And they're crying poverty. They're crying poverty. And it's like, no, let's do things properly. Let's have a wage cap at Tottenham. Go on. Spurs had this thing, didn't he? Which was, we won't pay more than 130 grand a week for a player, right? Which is massively commendable. Yeah. It really is. And if everyone done it, it'd be sound, right? And they've slightly changed that because they needed to keep Harry Kane. But it goes back to what we've said about the pot of money for your wages. Yeah. That you can still keep Harry Kane. It just means that you can't pay Son the same as Harry Kane. Yeah. And if Son wants to go, all right, we'll go. And if you had 100 million, Harry Kane took 20 of it. If Son can become the 20 million pound player at another club, off you go then, because we'll bring in a younger one.
Do you know what's a good example while you're using Spurs? I look at someone like Doherty that they signed from Wolves at the end of the season, right? They would have offered him a really good amount of money, right? Now, if there was a wage cap in place and they were paying, a ridiculous sum to Harry Kane and Son, let's say. Yeah. Then when they go to buy him, and they go, because of our wage cap, we can only offer you this much. That lad then,
he's got the decision.
He's got to make a decision then. I'm one of the top players at Wolves. Do I stay at Wolves and be the top player, or do I go to Tottenham, which is a club trying to compete with the Champions League and play in the Champions League? I mightn't be earning as much as first, maybe as I was earning at Wolves, but I'm going to win things. I'm going to still be earning a lot of money and actually get myself on their ladder then. And I think that's what a salary cap would do. It gets rid of this idea that someone can go to Wolves and go to one of their players, we're going to offer you all kinds, and then bring him and he doesn't play that much or whatever. And that to me is what a salary cap is. It's not stopping anyone from earning any money that deserves it. What it's saying is there has to be a scale. And we've got to get realism back in the game. These football clubs are all chasing the same thing and are throwing everything at it, and they can't all win, like you just said. Then they cry poverty. Well, it's if I'm one club and you're another club, and I say you're getting 50 grand, and then that lad goes, I'm going to that other club, and that other club goes, yeah, we're only giving you 50 grand as well. Instead of going, I'll give you 100 grand, and then you go to the other club and he goes, I'll give you 100 grand. What's the point? What is the point? How does that make any sense? What we've allowed to happen in the last 25 years is this idea where average footballers now earn 50 grand a week and decent footballers earn 75 grand a week, and good footballers earn £100,000 a week, and the best earn £200,000 a week. Why have we done that? Why didn't we keep the scale where it was like average footballer earns 15 grand a week? Because if we all paid the same amount,
there wouldn't be
this thing, and there'd be no need.
But the cap is massive because it means that you have to make those decisions.
Exactly.
And it's someone's culpable for it.
Whereas,
clubs pissing money up the wall basically on players, lads that don't play.
Yeah.
And lads that you do just to get them. You can stockpile because you're thinking, there's no kickback.
And like you just said, introduce bonuses, right? But this is where I go back to German football, because I think German football's got the right idea on every level.
People would say Bayern have won 8 on the run, 8 championships on the run. But I mean, a couple of them have been because Dortmund have fell on the sword near the end of the season.
People could say that, right? People can say that, but at the end of the day, it's still competitive, right? You know, I know, you know, we've got Man City, we've got Liverpool, we've got Man United, we've got Chelsea here. I understand that, but at the end of the day, it's I get that, but when it comes to the top clubs, I don't think Bayern Munich go round blowing people out the water.
I think they've got the money to.
Basically, what attracts people to Bayern Munich is because they're Bayern Munich. You know, you see people leaving other German clubs because it's the law of Bayern Munich, and you understand that because they're a huge club. So they're using that incentive of we're a big club, and that would still work in football. We always hear every summer, Richarlison's going to leave, and Barca could come in from Real Madrid, and it's that. Even though it's not real, that idea is still real.
Hierarchy.
Yeah, there's a higher, and we, as football fans, we accept hierarchy because it's something that's been instilled.
Do you know what I don't accept, though? Steve Parish mentioned this today about the clubs, you know, sitting around and we've been told by this self-proclaimed six that they're more important than everyone, they're this, they're that. How have we allowed that to happen?
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Because the reality is...
Narrative.
And UEFA as well.
Yeah.
So UEFA use it, these clubs use it, but UEFA, right? The reality is, those big clubs will generally be in the Champions League anyway, right? If they're not, it's because there's another club who's better than them for that season. And the incentive then has to be, we've got to overcome. If Everton got in, finished 4th and got in the Champions League at the expense of Liverpool, it's Liverpool's job that summer then to go, right, we need to build better to get back above Everton and get back in it, right? But what's happened at the moment is, we don't. The UEFA are going, we need Liverpool. We need this. For one season, you don't need them. Right? The Premier League's the same. Why? In a competition, do 6 clubs feel like they're more important than anyone else? And actually,
the Champions League reform is a joke as well. I did a video on a few weeks ago for the footy show. And that's a joke as well, and that doesn't help the situation. But what I was talking about was, there is a hierarchy in football which has been established through winning trophies over 100 odd years. So Real Madrid, what is it, 13 Champions Leagues, is it, or 12 Champions Leagues? You know, Liverpool have got 6, Milan have got 7.
Yeah.
You know, Bayern Munich have got 4 or 5, is it? So there's a hierarchy that's been created, but it's been created on the pitch through success. You understand that. You understand that. That's what you're competing with. But when you can't compete with it, because like you said, either the Super League or they change the rules so they're all coming in. Football is about earning the right. And you're absolutely right. We've now created this. It was a top 4, now it's a top 6, self-appointed that. Sky. First thing Sky have got to do and everyone else.
3 of them. Yeah. 2 of them aren't even in that top 6.
So what we've got those...
No.
So what's got to happen is that the media's got to stop calling them top 6 for the start.
That's the start.
We've got to stop. We've got to get rid of this hierarchy because it's nonsense. Spurs are not a top 6 side, as in being a top 6 side. Leicester have done it in the last couple of years, so why aren't Leicester in the top 6?
Yeah.
Leicester have won a Premier League.
Yeah.
Spurs haven't.
Yeah. No.
So why aren't they in it? So
I don't think you can have a fixed thing like that, because I don't think, no disrespect to Tottenham at all, Tottenham are a fantastic club, but Tottenham are not bigger than Everton.
They're not bigger
than
Everton.
Just not.
They've got a stadium.
Historic. It's like, was it Parish or was it one of the others said? Dean Smith as well.
Smith.
How are you defining this? Is it trophies? If it's trophies, Tottenham are below Everton.
Yeah.
If it is it support,
if it's league titles
below. If it's where they finished over the last 30 years, they're below Everton. They've had the last 8 or 9 years, they've been fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but over that 30-year period, they've been below Everton. They were mid-table, nothing. They were Crystal Palace for a few years. Don't get me wrong, like I said, they're a fantastic club. 8 FA Cups and all that. They've had a great history. I'm not disrespecting Spurs, but to me, they shouldn't be entitled. Liverpool, Man United, whether we like them, hate them, whatever, they're the 2 most successful clubs in England. So you have to go fair play to you. Arsenal.
That's a hierarchy.
That's a hierarchy.
That's trophies.
Right? It doesn't mean I don't believe we can get above both of them. I mean, as an Evertonian, I can say we're never going to be as big as Liverpool. I don't think. We're never going to be as big as Manchester United. It doesn't mean we can't be as successful as them going forward. Manchester City, 10 years ago, were Man City. They had that money. They were Everton 10 years ago.
Yeah.
They had money. They've been given a stadium. The owner, Sheikh Mansour, came in. They were Everton. Yeah. They were trying to buy players. They'd pissed
when
up.
There was no FFP.
They'd pissed up money
when there was
the wall.
But there was no FFP, so they were allowed to just do what they wanted. Chelsea did the same thing.
Shinawatra come in, spent a load of money on players like Bozyanov and people like Alano and all that. They kept doing it, Rubinho. They kept doing it, and then all of a sudden they won the FA Cup, and they haven't looked back since then. When Sheikh Mansour come in,
they started to get it right.
Got it right, put the right people in, and they've been.
But them and Chelsea.
But they were given a free hit.
Them and Chelsea were given a free hit. They were allowed to do what they wanted to do, and those rules are in place now to stop people. So that'll be the next thing that needs to go. I've said to you before, like the justice thing. I don't mind Everton finishing. I mean, I do want them to finish first, but I don't mind us not getting in stuff when we're just not good enough. Yeah.
But I don't like it, us or any other club, not being able to do it because others are given an advantage. To me, because the coefficiency thing, I think is bollocks. I think it's absolute nonsense. Maybe when you're drawing like pots for Champions League groups, maybe that could come into it because you've been in it before. But realistically, why should it matter anyway? It's all about that season. If you get in the Champions League, you've been good enough to get in the Champions League. If you get
you're being hindered because you haven't been in it before.
Because you haven't been in before, when a lot of it's been a closed shop anyway. How is that normal? That's not competition. That's weighting it heavily in favour of bigger clubs. Why do they need it weighted? The big clubs anyway.
They're better than everyone else.
Better, they'll get in it anyway. That's what I'm saying. And then give the reward for winning it. It's like say Everton got in the Champions League, and we got to the second phase, and we earned 40 million. Brilliant. But the winners should earn 150 million or 100. So that the incentive is to win the thing. And by winning it, you are the best. So therefore, you get a huge bit of money. No one could begrudge that. If Liverpool won the Champions League and go, oh my God, Everton were in that same competition. Everton walked away with 30 million, but Liverpool won it and got 150 million. Who can complain? You go, well, they won it. I'm not complaining. They won the thing, so they deserve the prize money. They deserve everything that goes with it. But you can't go, well, Liverpool finished 7th, but which is what happens now. They're going in the Champions League as a wild card because these coefficients brilliant and they've been in it before. That's nonsense. Yeah, and this was even worse than that. This was an idea about giving people £350 million a season, no matter what. No matter what. And that's been the disgusting side of it.
So for me now, I mean, let's just talk about punishments for these teams.
Yeah.
I've seen this. There's this narrative going around which makes me laugh, and it's not the fans' fault, it's not the players' fault, and it's not the club's fault, it's the owners. Well, was it Wigan's fans' fault? Was it Wigan's manager's fault?
Wigan's manager and players got them to 11th.
They got them to 11th. Was it their fault that some shady businessman come into the club who was allowed in by the league, and then they were kicked out? And the manager left, and half the players left, and now they're in the league below, and they've been struggling in the league below. Was it Wigan's fault? Was it Berry's fault when they went bust because the fella who run them into the ground? Is it Sheffield Wednesday's fault that they had points deducted?
Was trying to get the ground. Yeah.
You know, is it West Ham when was it the Tevez situation?
Was it the fans' fault?
Is it any of the? Is it ever? Is it Bolton? Is it ever the fans' fault?
No, because we're not in control of it.
Exactly.
We don't control our club.
So none of these 6 clubs can come out and or anyone else in the media can come out and go, oh, don't make them make it. They are the club. Listen,
what are you going to do to the owners?
Yeah,
but how do you punish the owner?
Well, but also, right. If you're a fan of Liverpool, right, You weren't harsh when John Henry was on the pitch with the Champions League and the Premier League, and you were like, FSG, what a job, what a job. They brought Klopp and they've created this model that has won us everything. You weren't harsh then. You clapped. You were made up. You benefited.
Fully
you
compliant.
benefited. Well, now you're gonna have to suck it up.
Because he's done it.
Because he's done it, and he's come out and done his absolute cringeworthy, abysmal, straight off the allotments video with his little Gillette on that he's borrowed from Tim Sherwood, right? So you've got to suck that up as well. This is your club, own it. Your club. And the other 5, own it.
Well, the thing why you have to make the club responsible for it is so that the fans can turn around to their owners and go, look what you've done by your stupid harebrained plan. You have put this club either out of Europe for a year or points deducted or whatever. That's on you. We didn't get the say in this, but you've damaged our club by doing this. So, in 2 years when these come back to you with the big... Because all they've said, the Super League is, it's not dead. We've got it, it's dead there. This version of it's dead. They come out today and gone, no, it's on hold while we revise the plans for it. So if they revise plans for it that people don't think are that bad, all these teams are going to be straight back. John Henry's going to be going, where do I sign? Stan Kroenke's going to go, where do I sign?
Ultimately,
the Glazers are going to be there carrying it.
And for all we know, and we don't know, UEFA have spoke these teams and have asked them to come back. And I don't know. For me, what needs to happen is they should all be banned from Europe for a year. Simple as that. Because that's what they've pulled out of the...
They all resigned from
the They all resigned from, they pulled away, so they should be banned for a year. Premier League, did they break the rules? Well, they actually did break the rules. As long as, if they've signed a piece of paper saying they're going in,
they broke the rules.
They've broke a rule. So therefore, they should have points deducted this season.
Yeah.
Not next season, this season. Dock them all points. As many points as it needs for Everton to be in the Champions League.
Yeah.
So they should be docked points because they've got to be punished. They've got to be punished.
Because otherwise, what's the deterrent?
What's the point? They've caused uproar in football. So what's the deterrent? Yeah, you're allowed to just do what you want now, are you?
They'll just do it again. Honest to God, right? They will do it again. They've done it now. They'll do it again.
Thing is, though, it's not even about they do it again. They've been caught. They've been caught. They've had to hold their hands up because they've been caught. So they've got to be punished. That's the way the world works. If you allow them to come back in and go, well, we're just happy that you didn't leave us.
Which is what Keffer
and say it like that, then no, they've got to be punished.
There's another meeting, isn't there, of the clubs to decide that.
I don't think anything can happen.
Well, I seen a thing saying that some of the clubs are divided on whether to punish them or not. How can you be if you're one of the 14 clubs, right? How can you not believe they deserve to be punished? Why? Is someone going like that?
Because it's a big boys club. But no, but that's it, isn't it? Though a lot of people will just go, well, do you know what? Nothing really happened, did it? No, I know, but this one still nothing, no harm, no harm, no foul. Nothing's really happened. We had a couple of days where a few people got excited, but actually, it's like, no, you broke the rules.
You're hoping that strong people like Steve Parish, Everton, Denise Barrett Baxendale, you're hoping Aston Villa are going to be banging on the door.
They will.
And other clubs. Because you need... See, the gutting thing is Man City, because I don't think they needed to do this. No. And I think if they would have been at the table with the rest of the clubs, there might have been stuff going on here. But
it's like, you've got to...
I've seen a few people like Reds, obviously, because we're saying something happens. But I'm seeing West Ham fans, Palace fans, all saying the same thing. But these Reds are in out just because it's Everton. No, it's not forget about Everton. Obviously, if you were banned from Europe, it benefits Everton. Of course it would. I'd rather Everton just got in Europe anyway. But it's about rule breaking. Yeah. It's about doing something that damaged the whole sport.
But it's also about...
Hang on, sorry. And they were all up in arms yesterday when they thought they were going FSG out. And apparently, fair play to them, Spirits of Shankly have put something out saying, we're not forgetting this, what you've done. And I've just spoke to Paul Machin before, and he said he thinks they're now about to embark on a battle to get FSG out now, which means it'll destabilise Liverpool. But what I mean is, they're not going to forget, but a lot of fans will forget. A lot of fans go, no, we had nothing happened. What are you on about? It's just trying to help your club. No, but what we're trying to do is punish people, so this never happens again.
And Baz, this leads me to my next point, right? There's far too much tribalism in football, right? And what it's shown in the last couple of days is people have got together. That has to continue. I've been saying this for years, right? One of the things I always every year thought was dead funny was every year the FA never give fans enough tickets to the FA Cup final, and every year that one club or two clubs, innit, would kick up a fuss and no one else had backed them, and then the next year another two clubs did, and the next year, and no one ever got together and went, we can only do this by having the numbers, and that's what has to happen this time. Everyone has to remember this, and all the national supporters associations, football, fans have to come together with this, organise and say, and the six after organising, and that's what I was saying, they have to be a big part of this and go, we are not going to forget that just because it's our club. You've tried, stop having this thing where it was like, where they go, well, if they'd asked you to come in, you would have come in, wouldn't you? No, your club were in it. Your club made the mess. You should suffer, and actually you should be on the side like you were yesterday, like you've just said, backing it. Now, what has to happen is we all have to come together and use that power, which we've seen in the last 2 days, for normal things. Like we started the show talking about ticket prices, rail prices for when you want to go to the match, safe standing, whether you can drink beer in your seat like a rugby fan can.
Not extortionate prices in stadiums for food and drinks. And we understand clubs have to make a little bit of a thing, but don't hammer fans.
Be loyal. If you're loyal to if we know anything about football, is if you're loyal to your fans will be loyal to them, to you, right? If you make it in a ground where it's like, well, I'm not going to buy any ale in the ground. If you lower the prices by like £1, then I might buy a pint. So I've bought 1 pint that I wouldn't have bought.
You'd rather give your club the money,
exactly.
Wouldn't you? Realistically. But you're not going to do it if it's double the price of what it is outside.
But the only way that's going to happen is if fans come together now and get rid of all the other stuff that goes on. We love our club and all that can go on. That goes on anyway. But if we get together about the real problems, we'll keep our game.
It's too much self-preservation, though. Fans, because their clubs were directly affected, they kicked up a fuss, right? But those fans, it's like if you wanted more, you even spread the money. If you wanted it, they're not good. They want to beat the team at the top table.
But that has to go because ultimately football will just eat itself. It will just eat itself. And it'll happen again. Yeah, of course it will. Because those clubs think they're more important than everybody else. But the thing about it is what they've proved in this, they also think they're more important than their fans. Yeah. So Perez said, what did he say? We don't want legacy fans or something. We don't want legacy fans. Well, guess what? We're all legacy fans. The people who go to the match now week in and week out, we're the legacy fans. He doesn't want them. He wants the day trippers. He wants the Disneyland fans. And so if you think they're going to stand by, if you buy that poxy apology by John Henry, then you're a mug.
And others.
Yeah, you're a mug. Well, he's the only one who's done a video so far. You're a mug. You're an absolute mug if you buy that, because they aren't asked. They aren't asked one bit about you.
Sorry, they're just sorry they've been caught. And that's the thing. And they're all six of them. John Henry, because he's done a video, but all six of them are like that. Oh, we judged it wrong. We got that. How can you judge it wrong? You knew. No one's going to go, boss, we're going into this league, and no one was going to do it. You're getting kicked out the Premier League to play in Dubai and America, and no one was going to... The biggest problem we've had, I know we're finishing now, but the biggest problem we've had is the global pandemic has took us out the stadiums. Yeah. And while we've been out the stadium, more than ever, it's become a TV. It's had to become a TV sport, but there is, it's not even me saying I guarantee it, there's more Liverpool fans who watch them on telly than go to match. Yeah. There's more Man United fans that watch them on telly than go to match all over the world. So us, we go to match. Yeah. Paul and Chris and I go to match, and the Reds, Steve Howson, who we know, and people go everyone. To match. Steve at Man City goes to match. Robbie goes to match. Not asked about us who go to match. They don't care about us going to match. They want the other people. So us kicking up a fuss, might it's bloody the nose a little bit. But the reality is, and why this hasn't gone away is, because they're catering for the TV fan. Of course they are. Because that goes everywhere.
That we've got to, I think what we've seen in the last year though is that simple fact is football fans have a place, because footy on telly, and I think everyone's realising this now, football without fans in the ground is awful. It's absolutely awful. People have been
training games.
People are switching it off. People are what makes me laugh is people are like, football is dying, we have to change football. Football's not dying. Football is not dying. What is become evident this season, and no one wants to mention it because they don't want to give that power to the fans, is without those fans in the ground, football is a crap. Real Madrid are not even playing at their ground, they're playing at the training ground. Football is crap, but no one wants to say that because they know the minute they say that, you're handing over the powers. Perez can talk about small-sided games and losing 18 to 24-year-olds. Know why you've lost 18 to 24-year-olds? Because they can't afford to go the game. Because they don't get taken the game like me and you did when they were 5 years old and you were introduced to the Gladys Street and you fell in love with the game when you were a kid. Because I absolutely guarantee anything you love now as an adult, you loved it when you were a kid. That's when you know what, hardly anyone, maybe apart from, let's say, golf, because you likes golf, but apart from golf, right?
Like golf.
No. Nobody finds something when they get older and go, oh, I love this. You start loving things as a kid. And that's the problem. If you want kids to like football, get kids in your ground then. Start getting kids in your ground by making it cheap for people to take their kids to the ground, like it was for my dad, like it was for your dad. Not where your dad has to decide, or your dad says, I can't go to the match, because how can I look at my son who loves football and leave him at 1:30 on a Saturday afternoon, or it's not even 1:30 now, it'll be like whatever mad time the kickoff is. How can I leave my son and say, son, you're going to have to watch it on the match, I'm going to the match? Okay, maybe it was an away game, but how can you say that to your son? Most dads would probably go, you know what, I'll just sit here and watch it with you.
I'm lucky at our club, because obviously I've got a 10-year-old son, he's a season ticket holder, but you're right, a lot of other clubs, they're priced out. And Liverpool, I don't think you can get kids, or you might be able to now, but you couldn't for a long time. It was like, no, it's adult. But then, and the only reason you took there, lads, it's adult.
And the only reason you can probably get kids tickets now is because of people like Spirits of Shankly, fans groups who, and so the fan is the most important thing. Forget about the people on the telly. I'm not asked about them, right? They what they love watching is because of us. We are part of the game. We are absolutely 100% part of it. And this year has shown that. And that's what fans have got to remember and latch onto. The game is nothing without us being in the stadium.
Well, it's exhibition games. And that's all.
And we've seen from places like Germany what the power of an atmosphere is as well. And how an atmosphere can... We went to Germany, the videos are all there. It's absolutely some of the best football I've enjoyed in my life. The atmosphere was amazing.
Make the game amazing.
Say standing, having a bevy in your seat, being just treated like an adult and enjoying it. Being able to hang around before the match, 3 hours before the match. Hang around after the match. It's all there. It's already getting done. And what we've got to do is push that while we've got this little bit of power, because it won't last long. It will not last long.
It'll be swept away soon unless people maintain it. So
there you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments on this. But it was a good day. It was a good day yesterday. It was just a good day to see them lot get that it's white, wasn't it? Just nice to see a win for the little guys. Make sure you check out the full video of the lads talking about it, the lads involved in the teams. That's it. Hold the L over on the Super 6 YouTube channel. Get involved. Leave a comment. We'll be over there as well. Tell them we sent you. Make sure to give this video a like. Don't forget, leave your comments on this video as well, on your thoughts. What has happened and what has to happen next. Subscribe if you haven't already, but going for that big 50,000. We're not far away now. If you're new to the channel, please give us a like. If you like this kind of video as well, make sure you tell us, and also subscribe to our Footy Show channel as well. We do live daily videos on Patreon as well. Link is on the screen right now. Thanks for watching. See you later.